about balancers. Felix, you are feeling better the other day.
No, Akash, still having fever and cold.
Yeah, Akash, so my account got a credit has expired. It's showing disabled.
So you'll have to use a new credit card and create a new account. So you'll have to do that. I think 30 days is over. I think we started the course. So I think, yeah, that's done.
Hello, sir.
Others
Yeah,
are active.
Sorry?
So Dilip, you have account, no? It is active or it is disabled?
Bro, I think tomorrow is last day, bro.
Yeah, Dilip, tell me.
Sir, after creating a restore point,
Mm-hmm.
restore virtual machine,
Yeah.
it's not showing public IP, sir.
Again, I think you would have used all your three public IPs. Earlier it was 10. I think you would have used all the three public IPs. That is why maybe it is not showing.
Oh, okay, sir.
Per subscription, I think nowadays you're getting only three public IPs. So if you have more than three public IPs, it is not happening. That's right.
Okay.
Okay, fine.
When we will create pre-account, again we have to add a different email address, right?
You give everything fresh. Okay, do not recreate anything. Just reuse anything. New account, new email, new phone number, new credit card.
Okay.
Okay, make sure you do that. And yeah, okay, that is done. And okay, fine. So we'll be continuing with the next topic, which is basically application gateway. Okay, application gateway and load balancer. What is the main difference, guys? Can someone answer me? Major difference between an application gateway and a load balancer. There are around 2 to 3 differences between these two. Can you tell me what exactly is that? What is an application gateway, by the way? Dilip?
Actually, application gateway works on seventh layer of OSA layer,
Okay.
application layer.
Seventh layer.
And network load balancer will work on fourth layer of transport layer.
Okay.
And the
And
application gateway uses the HTTP and HTTPS
okay.
ports, and the network layer uses TCP, TLS, UDP, and all.
Okay. What else? I think that is pretty much it. Okay. Few other differences are there. I'll show you while we are creating a application gateway. Okay. Now, Dilip, can you tell me what is a load balancer? Why do we need a load balancer?
It will work on backend.
Okay.
And it will give work balance to all virtual machines. Same.
Okay, it will distribute the workload, okay, among the
Workload.
backend servers. Okay. So what are the two types of load balancers which are available on Azure, Karthik? Two types of load balancers available on Azure, which we created.
Basic and standalone.
Standard. What is the difference between basic and standard?
Basic that we can create that manually, that IP address we can give that in basic, but standard it will be take automatically that public IP.
No. There is one major difference for basic and standard. What is that? Anyone can tell. What is the difference between a basic load balancer and a standard load balancer?
PowerShell programming?
No. Yeah. So what is the major difference? Did you guys try to do that? What we discussed on the class the other day. Have you guys created that particular thing?
Yes, sir.
What is the difference between a basic and a standard one? What was the difference? Come on, guys. Easy. What would be the difference while you're creating a basic load balancer and a standard load balancer? Only one difference is there pretty much. What is that? I think Karthik, you asked a question about that as well last time in the class. Karthik or Felix, I'm not sure. Dilip, did you do the demo? Did you do it?
Which one, sir?
Load balancer demo. Yes or no?
No.
Okay. Felix, you?
No, Akash. For past 10 days, I didn't touch the laptop. Now only I'm taking.
Okay. Karthik?
Yeah. That load balancer I already configured and I just kept a screenshot. I was able to access that basic and standard load balancer also.
Okay. You were able to create a basic one, right?
Basic and standard both also.
Both you are able to create. Okay. So what is the difference between these two? There should be one difference, right? One particular difference while you are creating it. What is that?
Yeah, difference is
Inbound
there.
rules.
Basic and it's not availability set is not required in standard. And
Correct.
this one basic it's required availability set.
Correct. Perfect. Okay, that is the only difference, guys. So for basic load balancer, you will not need a availability set. Okay, for a standard load balancer, you will be requiring an availability. Sorry, for basic, you will need a availability set. For standard, it should not be part of any. It might not or maybe or may not be part of an availability set. And the other difference is it is using a basic public IP. The other one is going to use a standard public IP. Okay, so these are the two differences. Now the topic which we are going to work on is application gateway. Okay, application gateway, it is a layer 7 load balancer. Okay, it is going to use the application layer of the OSI model. Okay, wherein we are going to work on HTTP and HTTPS type of traffic. Okay, so this is going to be more faster, and the rate at which the load balancer is going to work is much better as compared to your load balancer. So what I am going to do first is I am going to start with um I'm going to start with this particular thing, okay, wherein I'm going to install a script. Okay, I'm going to install a script which will help me to create the uh, IAS service on this particular machine. I'm going to create IAS service onto this particular machine. Okay, so how am I going to do that? I'm going to use Cloud Shell again to do that. Okay, first is the name of the virtual machine. Okay, what exactly would be the name? I'm going to put it here. Okay, the region is West US 3. What is the resource group of this particular virtual machine? Okay, what is going to be the resource group? So that is RG1. I'm going to copy that and put it here. Okay, RG1, the extension name is IAS. Okay, extension name is going to be IAS, and VM name is Windows 1. Okay, and the region where it is deployed is this particular region. Okay, so I'm going to go and deploy this particular service here, paste it here and click on run. Okay, so this is going to pretty much install the script. Okay, this is going to install IAS on this particular service. Okay, and apart from that, we'll also have to do it on the second VM. Okay, which is Windows 2. So what we will do is we will do the same thing what we did on Windows 1. Okay. So go to Windows 2. Here, uh, click on the VM name, copy the VM name. Okay. Put it on the script again. The resource group is going to remain same. Okay. It is again RG1. So nothing to worry. Just open Cloud Shell. Okay. And install this particular install IAS in this particular VM as well. Okay, so basically whatever we did the other day, same thing we are repeating. We have created two virtual machines wherein we are installing the IAS service on both of them. Okay, that is pretty much what we are doing here. Okay, so once this is installed, we need to open HTTP port on both of them. So I'll just minimize this. Parallelly, I will install HTTP on these two particular sites. So just a repetition, nothing new we are doing as of now. Okay, so source is any, destination is any. The service that we are going to work on is HTTP. Okay, and allow. I want that to be allowed. So I'm creating this particular rule. Similarly, on Windows 2 also, I'm going to do that. I'm going to add HTTP rule. Okay. Same thing, whatever we did the other day, we are just repeating it here. Okay. So the service is going to be HTTP on port 80. So what I've done is I have installed IAS on both the virtual machines. Okay. And I have opened port 80, and this is going to facilitate the virtual machine to act as a website. Okay, so that is pretty much what is going to happen onto these two particular VMs. Okay, once we have done with these two installation, we will continue. Okay, we'll see what happens next.
Because I have one query. Instead of run that script IAS server, you can remotely you can log in server and access that IAS.
That is the complex way. This is the easier way. That's it.
Okay, okay. It will be easy. Direct it will be installed.
One script you can just install. Otherwise, you can log in into server, go to
Yes, yes.
add roles and features, click on IAS and do
Yeah,
it.
it will take time.
That can also be done. Yeah, yeah. Done. Okay. So I have facilitated this server to work as a website now. So I have the public IP. I'll just show you whether this is working as a website or not. Okay. So yeah, this is showing Windows 1. Okay. And similarly, the other one will also be having the same output, which is going to show Windows 2. Okay. So now we are getting to the real part wherein we are going to create an application gateway in order to balance these two, in order to balance load on these two particular virtual machines. Okay, let's see how to do that once the Windows 2 installation is done. Okay, just a minute. Once it is done, we can start creating the Windows 2 as we can start creating the app gateway. Yeah, so basically now both the virtual machines are ready, and you can see output is Windows 2. Okay, so in order to create an application gateway, okay, we need to have a empty subnet. Okay, just try to understand what exactly is a subnet. Okay, so you have a virtual network, that is basically your VNet. Okay, in each and every VNet you have multiple subnets. Okay, subnets are division of your VNets. Okay, so in order to have an app gateway, okay, you need to have an empty subnet. Okay, you need to have an empty subnet for the application gateway alone. That means your subnet should not have any other NIC or any other thing configured in it. How do I find out what is my VNet? Okay, this is my VNet and this is my subnet. So I click on this. This is my VNet. Okay, here I can see that this is the address space. We'll get to that later. Okay, 10.0.0/16. That is the address space of the VNet. Okay, how do I go to subnets? It's right here. Okay, subnets are here, and I can see that I have two IPs which are assigned. Okay, how do I see? I go to this particular default subnet. Okay, and I can see the details about it. Okay, I can see what exactly has been done and everything. Okay, so I have total it should be 251. Okay, you'll later understand how this 251 came up. Okay, but as of now, two of my virtual machines are part of this particular subnet, rg1 vnet hyphens slash default. Okay, the other one is also on this particular subnet, so that means this particular subnet is not empty. Okay, so what I'll have to do is I will have to create a new subnet. Okay, I will just put it as for app gateway. That means I'm going to create an empty subnet and click on save. Okay, so I'm going to create an empty subnet for this purpose alone. Okay, so just give a refresh and it is here. So you see 251. Okay, 251 is the remaining IPs which are available on this particular subnet. Since I have used 2 here, so it has -2 and it is 249. Okay, we will get to the part later wherein how do we determine this particular number and stuff. Okay, but as of now we have created an empty subnet. Okay, and that is ready for use to create an application gateway. Okay, so let's go to application gateway. Okay, click on application gateway, click on create. Okay, now you need to click on RG1 gateway. Okay, RG1 gateway and the application. One second. Sorry guys, someone was at the door. Okay, so the region where I want to deploy this particular one, so I'm going to put it in West US 3 where my virtual machines are present. Okay, and after that I don't want to enable auto scaling. The instance count as of now is 2. No availability zone, HTTP as disabled, and I need to choose the VNet. Okay, VNet where I want to deploy, and I'll have to select the empty subnet which we had created only for this particular purpose. Empty subnet for that particular purpose, and then click on front ends. Okay, front end is basically the IP which you are going to use. Okay, so click on add new IP. Okay, PIP for app gateway. I'm going to put that and click on OK. Okay, so I have created a public IP as my front end, and now you need to select the backend pool. Same steps as you did what we did for the load balancer. Okay, BP one, backend pool one. Okay, and you need to add the target. See here, the number of targets you have differs. Okay, there only you had an option of virtual machine. Here you can have an IP address, you can have a virtual machine, you can also have a VMSS and a PaaS offering, which is app services. All these four options you have while you are creating application gateway. But when you are doing it only in uh, load balancer, the two options which you have is virtual machine or VMSS, only these two options. But here you have four different options. This is one of the major differences. Here you can do it with app service as well, and you can also do it with an IP address. Okay, so that is the thing which you need to remember here. Okay, so here in our case it is going to be a virtual machine. Select your virtual machines, both the virtual machines. Just be note that these two are not part of any availability set or availability zone. They are just standalone virtual machines, and we have created two targets. So I will click on configurations. Here I need to create the routing rules. Okay, wherein I'll have to give all the rules like the way we did it for load balancers. Okay, same set of rules. You'll have to do it. Okay, the rule name, whatever rule name you can give, app gateway rule one. Okay, and what is the priority? Okay, you can give it as 100. Okay, priority you can give it as 100. Listener name, what is the listening port? Okay, on which port do you want to listen? So listener one. The IP, front end IP is going to be public. It is going to be a HTTP protocol because we are working on HTTP and not HTTPS. Okay. And everything else stays as it is. Here you need to give the backend target. Okay. So target type, you need to select, you need to create a new, okay, you already have a backend pool. So select the backend pool. Okay. And you need to add the target type. Okay. So you need to give the backend settings name. Okay. Backend pool setting one. Okay, the port protocol is HTTP, and the requested timeout draining is like if we are not able to reach that particular website, how long do you want it to wait? 20 seconds. We have given it will wait for 20 seconds. If there is no response, then it will give an error page. Okay, and click on add. Okay, so basically you have created a backend pool. Okay, you have created a listener, you have created a backend target. Okay, and one more extra feature which you have for application gateway is this particular thing called path based routing. Okay, so wherein if you have two different types of path, for example, I'll just take example of Netflix, netflix.com/photos. Okay, and netflix.com/videos. Okay, depending on the path coming after the URL. Okay, after the slash. Okay, depending on that particular path also routing is possible. Okay, so that is called path based routing. That is available only for your application gateway, and it is not applicable for your load balancer. Okay, so path based routing is only available on application gateway. Tags. Okay, and then review and create. Okay, so basically we have created an application gateway with two virtual machines. Okay, which is running a website. Okay, so once we are done with this, we will have a load balancer in place. We'll have an application gateway in place, which will be serving the purpose of a load balancer. Okay, on HTTP traffic. Okay, it is going to serve the purpose of a load balancer on HTTP traffic. So we have created the front end IP, we have created the backend pool, we have given the routing rules and everything. Okay, and we are creating this particular thing. Any doubts till this point? Anything which you are not clear of? If you are clear, then we can move on. Can you tell yes or no? Dilip, Karthik, Felix. Felix,
Finish.
yes.
We can move next.
Okay, thank you. Fine.
Understand?
Once, yeah. Yeah, Karthik.
Akash, when we are setting that set up that application gateway load balancer,
Yeah.
in that when will be create virtual machine in that availability set not required. Without availability
No,
set,
no, you can just create only for basic load balancer that availability set is required. Otherwise, all are standalone. Standalone means single VMs.
okay.
Yeah. Let it finish creating and then I'll show you. Hello. Yeah, so the deployment is complete. Okay, here you see that we have a public IP. Okay, we will have a public IP. Using that public IP, we will be able to contact this particular application gateway. Okay, and now you will see the exact difference between the application gateway and the load balancer. Okay, so see, with every click, every enter which I'm doing here, it is being transitioned from 1 to 2. Okay, in the case of load balancer, it was not this robust. It was depending on the browser and stuff. But here, with every single click, okay, every click, it is changing from Windows 1 and Windows 2. That means the traffic is getting equally distributed among the backend servers of my load balancer. Okay, so this is pretty much the difference between the load balancer and application gateway. Are you guys clear with this?
Clear, Akash.
Okay, fine. So the next topic, what we are going to discuss, guys, is basically about VMSS, virtual machine scale set. Okay, so virtual machine scale set is the next topic which we are going to discuss. You would have heard about this particular term, okay, many times. So we will just see what exactly is a virtual machine scale set and how we can use it. Okay, so it is a combination of virtual machine. Okay, so VMSS will consist of multiple VMs. Okay, it will consist of orchestrated multiple VMs. Okay, let's say we have 10 VM instances. We are going to call it as 10 instances of virtual machines which are identical in nature. So basically, it is like a uh, group of identical virtual machines. So when you are querying that particular virtual machine, okay, when the load is going on to that, okay, it is going to be giving you the same exact result if you are giving it to the other one. So these are all identical virtual machines which are going to work as a website or a database or whatever the purpose is going to be. These are all identical VMs. Okay, so that is with respect to the VMSS. What is the advantage? Advantage of having a VMSS is about scalability. Okay, we can scale and we can also have elasticity. Okay, that means we can dynamically increase and decrease the size of the virtual machines, the number of virtual machines, and depending on the load, and we can also do that automatically. Okay, there is no need of manual intervention. We can set up rules in such a way that depending on the load, okay, if there is high CPU or if there is high memory, depending on the load, the VMs will scale up and the VMs will scale down. Okay, so that is the major advantage of having a VMSS instead of a virtual machine. Okay, so we are going to create a new VMSS. So give it a name. So VMSS1. Okay, so there is two type of orchestration, which is one is uniform. Okay, a uniform is basically for large scale stateless workload with identical instance, that is uniform. And flexible is high availability with identical or multiple virtual slave. Okay, so it can either be uniform or it can be flexible depending on your workload. Okay, and same whatever settings you give on creating your virtual machine, same set of settings you are going to give it here as well. So I will change the region. Okay, I will change the region for this case because I have exhausted the quota on that particular region. Okay, so I'm going to use this particular region, which is UK South. Okay, and I'm going to create small virtual machines. Okay, I'll use one vCPU and 1 GB of RAM. Give it a username and password. Okay, give it username and password. And once we are done with that, okay, go to disks. Okay, same whatever you do while creating a virtual machine, same set of things which you're going to do it here as well. Okay, the VNET. Okay, click on next. Scaling, what is the initial number of instance do you want? How much is the initial instance do you want? Okay, so I'm going to give it as 3 virtual machines. Okay, 3 is the one. And what is the scaling policy? Okay, scaling policy can be manual, wherein you scale the number of virtual machines by yourself, or you can have a custom scaling policy. Okay, where the minimum number of instance is 1 You can set it up as 2 or 3, no matter how high or how low the load is. These are the minimum number of instances which needs to be there, and maximum number of instances, no matter how the high the load is, this cannot go beyond 10. Okay, 10 or whatever number you specify here. Beyond that, the number of instances cannot increase. Okay, and scale out is after what percentage of CPU do you want to increase the VM by 1. Okay, so here if the CPU threshold reaches 75% for a duration of continuous of 10 minutes, then increase the number of instances by 1. That is the scale out policy. Okay, and the scale in policy is if the CPU is at 25% for a period of again 10 minutes, okay, then decrease the number of instance by 1. Okay, so basically this is the scale in and scale out feature. So scale in, scale out is basically to increase, scale in is to decrease. Okay, so depending on that, your policy will come into place. And there is a policy for default, wherein if your VMs are part of fault domains and availability zone, so then delete the one to maintain the balance between the availability zone. And there are few other policies wherein when you're scaling in, you can delete the oldest VM, or you can also delete the newest VM. Okay, so based on that, okay, you can create a scale in policy. Okay, so next is with respect to management, everything remains as it is, as you created while you're creating your virtual machine. Go to tags, review and create. Okay, so basically these are the things. Main thing is about scaling. Okay, it is going to automatically scale depending on the load. That is the main functionality of having a VMSS. Okay, it is going to scale up and scale down automatically. There is no manual intervention on this. Okay, so that is the basic feature of having an availability set. Sorry, having a virtual machine scale set. Okay, so that is the major advantage, and there is no manual intervention. It will scale up and scale down based on the load. Okay, so if it is at 2 o'clock in the morning, there is high load, high CPU, you don't need to intervene. Automatically it will happen. If it is a very low load, automatically it will decrease. Okay, and depending on the policy which you have set, depending on the criteria, that will happen. Okay, what is the minimum number of VM, what is the maximum number of VM? Okay, all those criteria will be taken into picture, and you will be able to the system will be able to detect that, and it will do the process automatically. That is the major use of having a virtual machine scale set. Okay, so that is with respect to VMSS. So you have any questions with respect to VMSS? Did you guys understand the purpose of having it?
Can you please explain that scale out to scale in concept, please, once again?
Scale out. Okay, when you have,
Scale out
let's
and
say
scale
you
up.
have two virtual machines. Okay, and the CPU average. Okay, so how do you detect CPU? Okay, go to task manager. Okay, go to task manager. Here you can see. Okay, 1 minute. Performance. If the CPU average of that particular virtual machine on an average of these two is 75%, okay, then increase the number. The load is high. Okay, evidently the load is high. So increase the number of virtual machine by 1. So there'll be 3 VMs. Now the whatever the total load is there, that will be divided among 3 particular virtual machines. So that is with respect to the scale out. Scale in is if the average load, if the average CPU is like 25%, okay, then it will decrease by 1. So that means if there is 3 VMs, it will come to 2. Then the load will be divided among 2. Okay, based on what is the load, the number of virtual machines will vary. That is pretty much with respect to scale out and scale in. Clear?
Yes, Akash, now I clear.
Okay. Fine. So once this is done, we have the VMSS in place and we have 3 running virtual machines. Okay. So you have instances here, or these are the 3 running VMSS on this particular three particular instances on this particular VMSS. Okay, so this is with respect to VMSS. Everything else is the same. Okay, only difference is these are part of scale set. Okay, and what is the operating system that is using, what are the things which are there, how can I upgrade, okay, and all the other options are here. Okay, so based on what I want, if I want to scale up, if I want to increase the number of VMs, okay, so let's say I want to make it 4, okay, I can do that as well. So that is with respect to the scaling. Okay, so all these things I can do, and the disks, if I want to add disks on all of the VMs, I can do that as well. Okay, so that is with respect to VMSS, virtual machine scale set, where I have 3 VMs. Okay, 3 individual VMs on part of this particular VMSS. It is a collection of VMs which are having the same configurations. Okay, so that is the concept of VMSS. Any doubts till this point?
Yes, Akash. If you are already having with the same configuration of 3 VMs already,
Yeah.
how to add those three VMs to this VMSS, new VMSS?
Okay. I think you cannot add. Okay, I don't think you can add the existing virtual machines to this. I think while creation time you can do it, but you cannot add a new. You cannot add an existing virtual machine to a VMSS. Yeah, that's not possible.
Okay.
No no applicable scale set. Okay, I'll put it as UK South. That's why we created, right? Where did we create VMSS? This is in UK South. Okay, VMSS. Existing VM you cannot do. I'm just trying to see whether you are able to do the new VMs. Just 1 minute. Virtual machine scale set. No, you cannot do the new one as well. You will have to scale up and scale down from here only. Okay, you cannot do it from this particular section. A standalone machine you cannot change it to VMS.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Fine.